Some guy is... I posted this thing for sale. And I don't know if they're just fucking with me or what, but this guy's gonna supposedly drive from like states away to come over and get this, and I'm like, you know, holy shit, you know, this ain't another lamp deal where I put a lamp up for sale for $20 and it's like, really, it's worth $200, and I just didn't know. Like, I researched it and I never found anything, and then I researched this new lamp and it shows me the old lamp I have that for and I'm like, what are they doing, just fucking with me? They're like, hey, here's your old lamp you sold for $20, it's $200. It's like, I really fucking need $200. Like, you know, I would have sold it for $100 just to fucking get. And it's like, this guy like looked at this and he's like, I'm gonna drive off. So it's like, yeah, because if it's gold and there's no way to test it, he's like, can you take it out of there? I'm like, no. You know, it says Japan in this corner. There's no... If this is gold, it's like, you know, this could be $1,000. Ooh, I can't test it. It has little bumps on it. Okay, you can see these little, they're just like little bumps. And it's across, and it's pretty big, you can see. And I've had it forever. I found it in the garbage along with this. This one. Now you'll probably see my ad, you fucking bitches. But this one, they want like $50 for this. You can't take it out. It's in there. I looked it up. It was like, you know, maybe $40 for this. Brand new, just like that. But not in the plastic. I was in the craft store, and this stuff, they were calling it like jeweler's gel or something. And it's like, I don't know what they call it. That's called a cut coin. Don't look at my ads. Fucking bitches. Question is, does this guy take these and sell them for more? And if he does, how does he do that? Why can't I sell it? And the only person that wants to buy it is somebody that's going to take it and resell it for $200. And it's like, why can't I sell it for $200? I need $200 just to fix this thing. I don't know. My grandpa built cars. I never met him though. They told me how he used to build cars, and I'm into cars. I want to build my own cars too. And it's like, I bet he could have taught me some things. No, he's dead. I bet he could have passed down the lineage, but they fucked that up. I think that's a conspiracy. Is they fucked up our lineage so we can't pass down information. It seems like what they do. I had a $200 lamp. That's what I met this lady, and I didn't meet her. I think she was talking to my friend, and I was just like standing next to my friend, and I'm like, why do they get to meet interesting people? And I just sit there. And I'm like, how did you even meet that person? They just like laugh at me. And they're sitting there talking like how you should look everything up, like when you sell it. You have to like find it and see how much it really is, or else you don't know what you have. talk about conspiracy. Everything seems like a conspiracy. Like, this seems like a conspiracy to me. This seems like a conspiracy. This place seems like a fucking conspiracy. The walls are a fucking conspiracy. The walls are constructed out of conspiracy. Like this cup is constructed from bisphenol A. It's 100% bisphenol A, synthetic female estrogen. Like they came up with a way. Like, water's made of water, and it's like, you're made of water. And when you get thirsty, you want water, and that's what you want. You want water. You don't want something else. Huh? See, look, even my cat's upset. Even my cat knows there's a conspiracy. I think there's a major, serious, bad, crazy, psycho conspiracy that's hidden in plain view and you don't even know it. Come on, kitty. It's okay. I think this is just it's a prison. The conspiracy is, it's like we live in a fucking prison, and these like you look at people and they're like, you think there's a conspiracy theory? And it's like they're fucked up, dude. They think you're fucked up. don't know, maybe the guy was driving because he seen my video and wants to buy it to help me. What are you doing? I'm smoking, you better get down. My cat's upset. She's just looking at me. And it's making me mad. She's mad. It's making me mad. We live in a fucking zombie prison. Like, my cat's even mad at me. It's like, why do we live in a zombie prison? And I'm like, looking back, like, I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out, though. And these people are just so fucking zombified, dude. You gotta figure out a way to get away from these people. Like, as far as possible, but you still need human contact. I looked it up. I said, can you do that? Is it true? That's actually like one question I don't think people ask. Is they just assume that there's wilderness that they could get lost in or trapped in. That could never happen. When you watch these survival shows, they're only surviving for 2 or 3 days because you can only be lost for 2 or 3 days. See, my cat's really upset. You okay? You okay? What? Oh. Man, where did I throw your toy? She's really upset. It's because we live in a zombie prison planet. She's upset like I am. This is a prison. I think we're supposed to be like Native Americans. Native Americans farmed and did things. I I think we're supposed to be like, America was free before slave masters showed up and said, hey, everybody's a slave now. Oh no, it's called freedom. United States of America. It's like they were Native Americans. That's who the Mayans and the pyramid builders were. They called them savages, but really they were more intelligent than the people. They just had a different way of living. Trying to look this up. Oh, here. No. We live in a prison planet full of zombies, and the zombies think it's funny. They think it's fun, and it's really weird because like jail like living in a jail and thinking that you're free is just not funny. And it's very disgusting, and these people are fucking zombies. I can only imagine that there's a conspiracy to fucking censor me, so people don't know. There's this fucking conspiracy of gaslighting. There's a fucking conspiracy against me. As long as they act like it's not true and keep censoring me, then it must not be real. The more they attack me, the more I just must be crazy. Yet another thing I can't research. I bet once I sell it, the computer will be like, ha ha, it was gold, dumbass. I even took it to places, they're just like, I'm like, okay, thanks for nothing, bye. You know, just on like a side note, like these zombies, people are zombies. Everyone is a zombie, and so these people, the zombies, if I took them and placed them in a much better environment, they would feel like open and like they're susceptible to attack, and they would be very scared. But if they're in the prison and they're under a lot of, like, they're in danger, like if they're in the prison and they're in extreme danger of getting hurt, they feel happiness within that. They're like, oh, this is good. I like getting robbed and raped and murdered and everything. Like, if they're in the prison and they get robbed, it never can happen. It's okay. But if they leave the prison and they could be safe and perfect forever, they feel... and so what I think is part of that has to do with the food stamp style handout, where they become dependent on the system. So when they are taken outside of that system, they're like, oh my god, I need my fucking crack. It's like cigarettes or something, like, but that's the system to them. So they like need that. They're like sheltered and loved by that. They're like, oh, I love prison. Oh, it feels so good. You're crazy for not liking prison. If you don't like stupid, then you're crazy. I knocked over my shit. Okay, is this a cross? Vintage cross. Fuck. Third. Fuck. Okay. That looks kinda like mine. Fuck. Everything's scrolling way too fast. Let's keep looking. I found one a little similar. I think coffee messes me up. I drank coffee. I think it makes me anxious. Actually, I think coffee has brainwashing compounds in it. Like, it helps to brainwash you. And then even when you're not on it, there's a different brainwashing that'll happen. But I don't think that's any reason to take it. I really feel like now would be a good time to do the alpha style brainwashing, where it's called conditioning, not brainwashing. Oh my god, that person's old. Sorry, I didn't expect that. I was looking at these crosses, and one of the crosses I was looking at, it kind of like zoomed out. It was I was looking at the cross, and then it zoomed out, and it was an old lady was wearing it, and I'm like, oh shit, man, it was like weird, like I didn't expect it. Like you zoom out, and it's like this wrinkly face, and you're like, oh shit, oh, sorry, my bad. No, I forget what I was talking about. Oh yeah, the alpha brainwashing. I've been trying to work on it. Like, you would say, I love myself, I love my life, I love everyone, and I love everything. And sometimes I add a dumb thing, like I'll say, and I love all the love that they bring. So, we're constantly bombarded with depressing things. Bills, you're fat, fuck you, and this is all coming in, and this is bringing us down, making us depressed. So sometimes we just want a pat on the back. And that's what money is supposed to do, but sometimes money doesn't go like this, and sometimes that's all you need. And so since no one's going to do that, don't expect it. No one comes over here and says, it's okay, Aaron. You know. And if they did, I would just be like, don't touch me. And it would be like, and it would be all okay. But what you gotta do is you gotta reprogram your subconscious with positive things. So a lot of them are doing this. That's the amygdala high that they get. But there's a difference when it's born out of depression and you're kind of understanding more about it, rather than doing it and kind of being ignorant like a sheep lemming and not really knowing what you're doing. You're really an alpha. It's the alpha. Like, the other way might just, you're just a beta or a delta. And it's like, but if you stem up and grow out, and you know the ups and the downs. They don't. And when they do, they don't understand it. So that means you can go up, down, left, or right, and you're fine. With them, they're just betas or deltas. They don't know shit. So you would stimulate your subconscious mind with positive mental reinforcement. And so that's why I like the self-help things. That's kind of what it's supposed to do. That last one I had, they said God way too many times, and I'm just not into that. I have my own beliefs about God, and they don't reconcile with anybody else. So I just accept that and know, like, I don't really care what they have to say unless they're saying what reconciles with me. And although a lot of it did, I did like what she had to say, but I don't believe in lies. And so when she sits there and she starts doing her alpha brainwashing shit and sitting there saying she knows about conditioning, and then she didn't go into it and talk about it, and it's a self-help, and it makes you realize she's a brainwasher. She's not a mind opener. She's a mind suppressor. And so that's why I got mad at that, and I don't like that, because you're supposed to be opening your mind, not closing your mind, and that's what she was doing. And she was mixing a lot of it together in a weird way. She would, like, you're not supposed to be in the darkness and blah blah blah, and it's like, that's true, but she was close to being right, but she had it like flip-flop backwards. And I think that's called disinfo. When they do that, they mix half-truth and lies and flip-flop it all around, and it sounds halfway believable, and really it's to close your mind and make you not aware at all. It's better to be aware of things, to know your surroundings a little bit, you know. But if they want you to close your eyes and close your mind eye, then it's not going to help you much. That's why I say, like, if you do the amygdala trickery, you at least got to know what you're doing, where you're coming from, because if you're going to do that, everybody does it, but they don't even know that they're doing it. When they're like no lip, they're like that, they're in some kind of amygdala high. Amygdala. And I've done it, so they act like it's new, no one's ever done it, and I'm like, no, I have done it, but there's more to it than what a lemming knows, so you can't really expect them to know anything. So it's like, you know, they're like Manchurian candidates. So if this is a war of Manchurian candidates, you can, like, Manchurian candidate yourself. But not to, like, you know, because in the movie, I know they did a lot of weird shit, but it was like he became president. So if you just left out all the weird shit, murdering and everything, and just made it to where, like, you become the president, or whatever you want, you know, you can be whatever you want. And it's about believing that you are, believing that you can, having the law of attraction. So there's so much to it, the law of attraction. And willpower, the power of will. And say you want to be like rich, like one of these Hollywood people in a way, maybe, it's something. You gotta understand, they're maturing candidates, they're brainwashed. So you gotta understand, if you want to be rich, you gotta understand how they achieved that, and they did that through their alpha conditioning. And so I found one that matched what I talk about, and they're called like Mind TV, Mind God, or something. Hold on. God, Mind. It says like how the law of attracting money, how to get more money, attract money, powerful subliminal training. Now this is what this guy makes. I think it works. I tried it. I instantly noticed that it worked. Instantly. That quick. Boom, the alpha stimulation is already working. And that's the key to success. And they got like these movies like The Lost, and like you got a show on TV, it's called The Lost, and like at one point of the movie there's like this underground bunker where dudes are getting brainwashed and shit, and this is kind of like that, except instead of being brainwashed to hit a button every 5 minutes, you're brainwashed to succeed, but you're doing it yourself. It's totally different. Nobody's doing it. Then you're kind of rising above the conspiracy to keep you depressed. Because they don't really want you to succeed like they do. Like, they get power by keeping you suppressed. And they don't actually gain anything. They think they do. It's a way of them feeling better that they have something that you don't. But you can get that, but they're suppressing you from that. So that's why I like the Phoenix quite a bit, because the Phoenix rises from the ashes and the darkness. And I feel an extreme connection to the Phoenix, and it was in Harry Potter, and sometimes I hear Alex say like a phoenix, and just he really sucks when he does it. But it's still pretty cool though. But for some reason I just felt a connection to the Phoenix. I thought I feel more of a connection to a Phoenix than I do like God. Just because it sounds interesting. They're like, God this and God that, and it's like, my head hurts. I just want to go to bed. Everything you just said sounded dumber than the last. It's like my head hurts because they're stupid. They're like rock hard dumb, and you're like, your dumbness makes me dizzy. I just want to go and cry because you're so stupid. and then even if something makes sense, I'll be like, okay, I kind of like what they just said there. I'll be like, oh, you like talking about the Bible. Let's talk about what you just said right there. Like, what do you think they meant there? And they're just like, oh, dirtily derp dop doop, nothing really matters. Oh, we're reading a book, yay, haha, we're so great. And I'm just like nothing's really happening. They're just like, oh, great godly goody, godly gobbly gooky goodiness. And I'm just like, gobbly goopily goop, god la 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 blah blah blah. Oh, it's so fantastical and fantasy, and believe in puppy dogs and unicorns and flying butter fucking dragons and shit. And it's like, I know that a phoenix is a mythical creature. At least I know it. That's different than, I believe in something that I can't even see or prove or even know, but no, I feel it. And it's like, there's just no shit. They're like, just believe. And it doesn't have anything to do with religion. Because they apply the same thing, the same brainwashing techniques in religion. I've seen it in video games, I've seen it in movies, certain ones, not all of them. And it's not even about religion. You can see the same principles, the same concept, the same big lie told over and over. And as soon as you sink that one down, hook, line, and sinker, the word God, like the big baited hook, that's why they use a fish. Because it's a big fucking bait, and you bite that, and you're like, God, and then every lie just fucking goes, whew. You believe one lie, every other lie after that lie is you're already sold. You already believe one lie. Every other lie that comes after that is just nothing. It's all like made up nonsense at that point. And you can just say whatever you want, and it's okay, because it was all based on lies anyway, so everything makes sense at that point, and logic is out the window. And it's like, you can see the same concept in any lemming group, herd mentality, lynch mob, herd, like lemming, lynch mob, zombie, fucking herd mentality, compartmentalized, useful idiots. Alright. They said a pastor is a person that leads the sheep. So he's a person that knows things and says, okay, you're all a bunch of fucking sheep. You need to watch the fuck out. And I'm like, okay, if that's what you're saying a pastor is, then instantly my first thought is, then that's who I am. I'm a pastor. I lead the sheep out of the fucking harm's way. And it's like, that's why when I get to the point in the Bible, they're like, many lemmings will flock to Satan and think it's good. And it's like very few will actually walk the path of Satan. That's what, the path of God. That's why there's only one set of footprints in the footprint thing, because only one person was smart enough to go. So it's like, that's why, it's like, I don't expect people to get the real truth, because they're actually bad. You know, that's why they go to church, is because they feel guilty. They're guilty. They have committed sin, and they feel bad, and they want forgiveness. They don't want to go to hell, so they go to church and give 10% of their money to the church, so they don't feel like shit. And they know they're ripping you off every fucking day of your life. They're a cutthroat, motherfucking bloodthirsty motherfucker. But they go and they bow down at church, and it's all in the past now. And so that keeps them going another day. And that's why I realize this is not a place that I want to be. These people do not follow the path of God. All of them. They're all fucked. And even if they did a good thing, they're like, don't drink coffee. It's like, they still don't even know. They're like, it's called being compartmentalized. Like, they're helping to build something that they don't even realize is actually a bad thing, and it's disguised as good. And there are some good things about it, but it's like, that's how they suck you in. It's like the first layer of the onion for them is like good and sweet, and it seems perfect and innocent and just and right. And then you get past that first layer, and then that's where they hit you with the deep lies and the deep disinfo and the deep deceit and the bullshit and the self-discipline and all the bullshit. And that's where you're like, blink, blonk, and they fucking just get you, motherfucker. And they know exactly what they're doing. And that's why they've done it to me. And then you catch on, and you're like, you motherfucker. It's like selling a light, a $200 light for $20. Eventually you find out, you're like, you motherfucker. And I don't blame the person that bought it or nothing. But you realize, like, oh fuck, I missed an opportunity there, or I got dicked or something. And it's like, you know, you do something, and then eventually you realize, you get past that first layer of goodness, and it's like, oh, it's all holy goodness. And then you get down to the very next layer, and you're like, this is not good. And then you get down to the core, and then you're like, this is really bad. And you're like, fuck this. And I mean, I'm talking like first thin layer is like, oh, it's so good, it's so holy, it's so right. Oh, and you're like, okay, I believe that shit. And then they just hammer you. And that's exactly what they want. Like, 10% of it sounds good. And then that's to just sucker you in. Then the 90% is meant to just fucking turn you over and fucking elbow you in the back of the head and fucking pull your pockets inside out and pull your brain out and smash your brain on the curve. And that's not even just religion. That same thing could be applied to the Sims video game. You play like the Sims, you're getting fucking brainwashed by some weird ass police state lemming bullshit nonsense, which they even talk about. They're like, oh, these video games have shit programmed in them to fucking mind control people. It's like, no, like, have you ever played Sims? Like, that motherfucker had so much brainwashing about like a fucking police state, mind control, Nazi style eugenics fucking police state, and people just sit there like, follow the rules. The rules are be a lemming. But I guess that's just a game. Like, I don't even play that game, but you could just like see that like they take their lemming lifestyle to the video game and live another lemming life. And it's like it's just an extension of who they are. Like the same lemming person they are, they're like an extreme one, because they can take it to the next level in their little fantasy worlds. So they say the online world's not real. But it's funny to see them live out their lemming fucking fantasies in that world. And they think that's what's right. You know? But the secret is they don't want you to know about how to get more money. Powerful subliminal training. They don't want you to know about subliminal conditioning. You know, there might be good conditioning, bad conditioning, good propaganda, bad propaganda. Maybe all propaganda is bad. I don't know, but if you made your own propaganda, would you not say, no, I believe in this, and that's what I put out? So it's like, that's what a zombie can't do, is they can't think for themselves. They can't formulate their own opinion. And it's like, more than 10 people have said to me, I am right. People cannot formulate their own opinion. I have seen it, and they say it with a meanness like I do. Like they have a potency in their voice. And I'm like, I like you. You're good in my book. And it's funny because like I never really talk to people like that. I try to, but it's like, we're so similar. Like we like repel each other. You know, it's like we're like standing at a distance, like, hey, that's cool. I like what you did. Hey, good. And we're like, the power is too much. We repel. So it's like you just kind of like salute them, and you're like, good work. Very few of us exist. I've heard Alex say it. I've heard callers that call in the Alex Jones say the exact same thing. When I talk to people online, I'd say 1 out of 100 will say the same thing. They can't formulate their own opinion. They have to be told what to think, how to think, and when to think it, like a lemming. The TV tells them, then they have to be asserted in that belief, because they can't think for themselves, so they have to be asserted that they were told what to think and it's right, because they don't fucking know. They're not capable of figuring it out. Which, that's why they need to be asserted, because they don't really know. And instead of being asserted like, no, you're wrong, they would be like, what? I'm wrong? I don't accept that. Fuck. I was hoping you would say I'm right. Either way, I can't formulate another opinion, so I'm just going to go ahead and accept whatever the TV told me, because I don't know anything any differently, and I can't find different. And if you put me indifferent, I would feel very indifferent. And I would say, I don't feel very safe. Where's my handout? And you would run back to the fucking Matrix prison system looking for your handout. But the thing is, it's like, if you let that person out of the cage, like once a day, eventually they start to get used to being out of the prison. Like all at once it's a shock, and they're like, oh my god, run back. But they build up a tolerance to the real world that's not a prison lemming zombie apocalypse. And they start to realize the freedom, and they're like, wow, I like this sensation of freedom. Wow, that's not the prison that oh, now I see it now. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it took me more than once to go outside the prison and realize, hey, this is something I like. I can go here, I can go over there. This is what they call freedom. Wow. You mean they were telling me before that other shit, doing what I was told to do, is freedom, when now I do this and it feels so natural, and I'm just like, walk over here, oh, ooh, yay, oh, I'll walk over there, oh my god, instead of being told, walk there, walk here, walk there. You're like, wow, I'm getting used to this freedom feeling. It feels wonderful. And I'm like, I'm looking at, like, people I know, like, do I know, like, I'm starting to call people that I supposedly know, I just call them, like, dude or chick, and I don't give them names, because I don't know anybody. So they're just like people to me, because I thought I knew them, but really, like, looking at them and saying, you know, I see it, why don't they? I think intelligent minds will think alike, and one day when people are more intelligent, they'll realize what I'm saying. And it's like, I think we're still growing and learning. And so one day they're going to come around to figure out what I know, but I don't think it's going to be in this lifetime. I think it'll be many generations of living in a prison before the spark of hope reignites in their minds and they awaken out of their fucking slumber. So I don't try to wake people up. I believe in a theory called let sleeping dogs lie. But, you know, if somebody has, like, a thirst for knowledge, that's not a sleeping dog. So don't confuse wakeful people that have a thirst for knowledge with people that are asleep, and don't treat people that are awake like they're asleep, and don't treat people that are asleep like they're awake, and don't expect people that are asleep to wake up, but don't expect people that are awake to be asleep. And so some people are awake and think everybody's still asleep. But in reality, a lot of people that are awake, they know the truth but still accept the lies. And that's the definition of stupid. So a lot of people that are awake are actually just fucking retards. And so that really dawned on me one day. It was like a light bulb coming on. I'm looking at them and I'm like, you're a lemming zombie that thinks they're awake. But you're still a lemming zombie and you think you're awake, and like you're not even close. You're still a lemming zombie. And although you know maybe a little something, do you act on that? No, that's called a hypocrite. When you say things and then do another. Like, a lot of these truthers are big time motherfucking major load hypocrite. And, you know, I mean, we are talking, a lot of these truthers are lemming, deep hardcore lemming from hell. Zombies on fire. And I'm like, oh my god, you're my friend, I care about you, but you're a gigantic hardcore lemming, aren't you? Oh shit. And you say you're awake. Like, you take a fresh diet of blue pills every fucking morning, and you know the red pill, but you fear that motherfucker, and you know it. You can talk about it, pretend like you're awake, but you wouldn't touch a fucking red pill with a pole. You know it. And you ask them, like, do you take red pills? And they're like, you know I'm a truther, I don't fuck around with that bullshit. I don't take no red pills. And you're like, no, this is a serious question, like, are you awake? Did you say, yes, I want the red pill? They're like, no. I know the red pill. I know you could be awake and what it means. And I sell myself as being awake, but really I know I'm not. And I'm like, then who the fuck are you to tell me anything? You're a fucking zombie. A zombie's trying to tell you the truth. The truth is, be a lemming, be a zombie. That's the truth. But they don't say that at first. Like, they're like, oh yeah, New World Order, blah blah blah, nah nah nah, conspiracy, 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 and it's sensationalism, like fearmonger type, and so people buy into that, and then they're like, I don't believe in that shit. I think it's good to be a lemming. And then if you didn't know them any better, when you ask them, they say, I'm awake. I'm not a lemming. That's what they say. They're like, I'm awake. I'm not a lemming. So you might join their lemming group. And it's like hardcore lemming shit. Like as lemming as you can get. And I'm like, I'm just like, let me try to help somebody. I'm going to find a lemming and say, it's okay. You don't have to be a lemming. And see what they do. And so I tried that and failed miserably. I like found a lemming and I'm like, you don't have to be a lemming. And they're like, lemming, 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 lemming. And I'm like, I can't help them. And it like hurts me to even try to help them, because I'm like, there's no helping, stupid. They're fucked. And maybe like the truth will break through to them. Like they know the truth and they're doing better. So it's like they're still a lemming that now they're at least knowing the truth and doing a little better, but still like hardcore lemming. And so they might die like these people. Like I say, like, when will they come around to know what I know? In this life and the next? It's not in this life. They will die a lemming, which is fine. But that's to say they're going to die in this prison, and you might be there with them. And it's like, I don't want to die in this prison with them. And I was talking with God one day, and I told God I'm going to fly out of this prison. And that's when I was ran over by a car, and I went flying through the air. And I didn't fly out of the prison, but I think that whole thing like woke me up, you know. And so I seen like all the corruption and all the bullshit, and I think that's like God was like, I seriously prayed to God, and I'm like, God, I'm gonna fly out of this prison that you put me in. And it was like a cold night. It was snowing. Moon's out. I'm looking at the moon, and I'm like, God, I'm going to fly out of this prison. I'm gonna fly out right now. Like, I'm gonna fly out. And all of a sudden, headlights, and then whack! This car hits me, and then I'm soaring through the air like, oh shit, it really happened. And then I'm like, oh. And then I'm like, oh, my legs are broken. You know. And then the cops come up and they're like beating me up, like, calm down, because I was like yelling at the person that hit me. I'm like, I'm gonna kick your ass, you ran me over. And so the cops are like, calm down, and they're like beating me up, and my legs are all like mangled and twisted. And so that was like realizing the corruption there, like, hey, I'm a victim. My legs are all mangled, and I'm getting beaten in the face because I'm upset about it. And so I think that was like God, like he was activating my wings in that process, because at that moment, that's when I went soaring through the air, because I'm like, God, I'm going to fly out of this prison without any wings. And it's like, smack, I'm flying, I'm getting punched in the face, my legs are all twisted and mangled, and I can't even walk anymore. And I'm like, yay, I love pain, motherfucker. And I think from that pain, I was like, it was like my weakness, and I was born out of it. Like, I even said at that moment that I'm a dead flower, but I'm gonna re-blossom again. And then now it's like, you know, the dark lotus, and they're like, you're born from darkness, and I'm like, oh, wow, I really am, you know. And it's like, I can truly just imagine myself just flying out of this prison, and just like the fucking prisoners and the zombies like come, and they look, and they're like, no, no, and I could just like see him like busting shots, like, pshoo, pshoo, get that motherfucker, she was flying, get that flying motherfucker, and I'm just like, whoosh, whoosh, bitch, I'm fucking Neo, like, whoosh, whoosh, and just fucking like just flying right out of the Matrix, like Neo style. I just like see myself doing that. I don't know if it's true or not, but it almost makes sense when I think back when I was praying to God. I'm like, I'm gonna fly out of here, and then it's like, boom, I'm flying, but I'm not. I'm just like launched. and then now it's like, I talk about leaving the Matrix. It just feels like not only will I just leave the Matrix, I will fly out of this Matrix. And then it makes me think how the Egyptians used to have like little bird sculptures, and they would go, I wish I could fly. I wish I could fly. I'm gonna fly. I'm gonna brainwash myself to fly out of this prison, like, because if I believe I can, then I can. It's like you don't bend the spoon, you bend your mind. Like, I'll bend my mind and I'll fly, motherfucker. I'm gonna fly. That's what I'm gonna do. That makes like the most sense I've ever felt in my life. Like, I'm going to fly. And then I'm going to fly right out of this prison, like, and I can just imagine, like, calling all guards, calling all guards. There's an escape in process. A fucking dude is flying away out of the prison. Fucking get that motherfucker. Don't let anybody see this shit. And I'll be like, whoosh, motherfucker, watch me fly. And they'll be like, there's flying people and shit. And just that, it just sounds awesome. Like I'm gonna just fly out of this bitch. Like, I mean, not that I am, you know. I mean, it's kind of like crazy. Like, I doubt that'll happen, but it just kind of makes a little bit of sense. Like, because it sounds like a good way to actually leave the prison. Like, just fly out of this bitch. Like a bird. Like, that's one thing. I look at the birds and I'm like, they're not in prison. They live in this prison, but they can fly out of it at any time. I bet that's what people in prison think. Like, when the birds fly over the fence and come into the court, they're like, man, I wish I could fly out of here. That's what I have to do, is become weightless and fly. They said what can make you weightless is having a certain enlightenment. Being the most enlightened creature would make you weightless. So you might fly that way. Maybe. Maybe not. I feel so alive for the very first time, and I think I can fly, and I think I can fly. Nee 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 nee. I feel so alive for the very first time, and I think I can fly. I sold a $200 lamp for like 20 bucks. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? I have to fly out of this prison. I will use my mind and fly out of this prison. I'm flying. First we had horses, then we had steam cars. Steam cars were replaced by internal combustion engines. Internal combustion engines were replaced with, we don't know yet, flying cars developed by me, because I'm gonna fucking fly out of this place. We won't even need cars. We'll just fly around with our minds. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fly out of this place. I'm leaving the Matrix. I'm gonna fly out like Neo. I think I am. I think I'm gonna go and think about that. Maybe I'll come back with some ideas that I have about that. So, see ya. I'm gonna go think about flying. Bye.